Hello and welcome to Hearing Your Future, the Coding Your Future podcast. My name is Duncan, I'm your host, and I'm on a mission to help you design, build, test and code your future in computing. In this podcast we'll talk to current and former students of computer science to find out more about their journey from student to professional. What's their story? How are they coding their future? What obstacles have they faced and how did they overcome them? Finally, we ask our guests what advice they'd offer their former selves and fellow students and where are they headed next. My guest today is Hassan. She graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree in Computer Science and Mathematics with industrial experience in 2025 when this episode was recorded. During her undergraduate degree, she did a year-long placement at Couchbase in Manchester. So welcome. Can you tell us a little bit about what's your name and how did you get to be here today?
Yeah, okay. Thank you for having me, first of all. I'm Hassan. I did my degree in Computer Science and Mathematics and I'll be graduating this year.
So you've got graduation next week.
Yeah.
And how did you get into computing? Can you remember your first experience of computing at school?
Yeah. My earliest experience with computer science was during just before GCSE time. We had Scratch and you get to pick your options
right
for GCSE, and I just thought, oh, this is interesting, and my computer science teacher, he did a really great job. His enthusiasm really showed.
You can remember the name? What was the name? Should we name check your teacher?
Mr. Mustafa.
Mr. Mustafa, okay.
Yeah, great guy. And so his enthusiasm really rubbed off onto me, and so it was quite interesting. And then the Alan Turing movie came out, The Imitation Game.
Right, okay.
Yeah, and I wrote about this in my personal statement.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so then that kind of got me into ciphers and things like that. And then I ended up going to do the National Cipher Challenge.
Right. Is that like a GCHQ thing or it's not is it a government thing or
It's hosted by the University of Southampton, I think.
Oh, right, okay. Right.
Yeah, and then the finalists get to go to Bletchley Park and
right.
see the actual where he worked basically, and so that was really fun, and that kind of pushed me forward into doing computer science.
So you did computer science as a GCSE?
Yes.
Did you do it as an A level?
No.
And that's interesting. I mean, you don't need to do it as an A level.
Yeah.
But you chose. What did you do instead? And why? Well, why didn't you do computer science?
Well, to be honest, I was quite confused about what I wanted to do in the future. I had one clear passion, which was maths, and so I did mathematics A level. Then I did biology and chemistry,
right,
just to widen my options.
Right.
Because I was still I have no idea what I was going to do. And then I ended up deciding, dentistry seems interesting.
Right.
And I got into dental school, but
right.
then COVID happened. And then that's when my fate changed and they took back the offer because we didn't sit our A-levels. And so I ended up having a look at what I actually wanted to do, and it was mathematics. And then I rediscovered my passion for computer science because my dad did computer science at university.
Okay.
So I found an old Java book in our house. Right. And things like that. So
right, that's interesting. So did they stop recruiting dentists that year? Did they just not take any dentists on, or was it because that you hadn't sat because it was in the middle of COVID? Was it?
Yeah.
So they just changed their mind about how they were going to take on new dentists.
It was my grades I was given wasn't my predicted grades.
Right. Okay.
So I ended up having to do my math A level again.
Right. Okay. Right.
Yeah.
I'm with you. So right. Okay. Good. So that brought you to study here. Because you actually went to school in Manchester, so I guess it wasn't that much of a shock coming here.
No.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
But I guess maybe one of the things you had to adapt to was a different style of working to doing A level. So how did you find that transition from high school, sixth form to first year undergrad?
First year undergrad was, I think, one of the most challenging times for me academically.
Right.
It was a huge change from A level. It was a lot more independent work.
Right.
And I hadn't done any programming in a very long time, and so to come in and do a full Python course with all these courseworks, still trying to figure out what is going on. And I had a Mac which didn't help at the time because we were on the VM.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was very confusing. It felt very chaotic. And then I didn't really come to campus because I got COVID as well.
Right.
And so there was a lot
of working
going
from
on.
home.
A lot
of being housebound, I guess.
Yeah, and then actually having COVID as well.
Right, okay, right. Well,
So,
that sounds rough.
Yeah, it was so rough. But I think...
So you started in 2001, is that right? Started your degree in 2001, just as the pandemic kicked in towards, well, it was the end of 21, wasn't it? The beginning of 2020.
Yeah.
What did you do? So you finished your first year at university. What did you do in the summer? Did you have any plans for the summer as to what you were going to do at the end of the year, or?
Yeah. The key thing was trying to familiarize myself more with computing.
Right.
I think the Java course in second semester really helped, because I was actually going to switch to do mathematics only.
Right.
But then after that Java course, I was like, actually, I think I've got it in me.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So I ended up doing the like a course with Harvard, one of the online courses.
Oh, the CS50.
CS50,
yeah. Right. Yeah.
So then that really helped set more foundations that I felt like I needed.
I think it's quite tough for for your degree program. It's quite tough because you're judged as a mathematician by the mathematics department, where you're compared to people who are doing single honours maths.
Yeah.
And in computer science, you're compared to people in computer science,
Yeah.
most of whom are doing single honours computer science.
Yeah.
So you fall between two stools a little bit, don't you? And you're kind of expected to be at the same level as the computer scientists in computer science and the same level as the mathematicians in mathematics, which is difficult, I think.
Yeah.
Not impossible, but hard work, I think.
Yeah, I think it's nice to have a flavour of both, but you definitely feel like an imposter in both.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't belong in either department.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's interesting. So did you have? So I guess you did CS50 over the summer, and sounds like that was a good experience. Sort of bolstered your confidence, and you're doing the right degree, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And then I got familiar with a few more technologies.
Right.
Had a look at React.
Right.
More web-facing projects, which really helped because I was looking for placements in second year, so I got to put
So had you decided before you came that you wanted to do a placement, or was it something you made? Some people make the decision along the way, but you decided before you came here, I'd like to do a placement.
Yeah, I always knew that it'd be important for me in deciding what I wanted to do in the future.
Right.
So, yeah, definitely.
And so you started looking at the beginning of your second year, I guess you were looking for placements. Can you describe what your job search was like and any sort of difficulties you encountered, how you overcame them?
I feel like it's kind of funny, I feel like I was wholly unprepared for the job market. Because I had no idea how to even apply.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't know what they would look for. I hadn't done that much research.
And it is very different for university, you just fill in a UCAS form.
Yeah.
And you're done.
Yeah.
Write a personal statement.
Yeah.
That's it. Whereas applying for jobs is very different, isn't it?
Yeah, and no one around me had really applied for a job in like tech, and so I didn't know that there was multiple stages. That was a huge shock to me.
Right.
Yeah, and so coming to like the careers talks, career fairs, all of these kind of things, and having like a good support system, like my friends, and especially like you, Duncan. It really helped me understand like the process, how to prepare, what my CV should look like, and Mabel.
I think. Oh, sorry, go on, Mabel.
Mabel. She really, really helped me.
Right.
Like I think I must have been emailing her almost every other day. Yeah, she was a significant player in my.
I think the other thing is I get the feeling that in computer science and maths you tend to bond more as a cohort.
Yeah.
Because you're a well-defined group of people, whereas people studying computer science is a massive, much bigger group, and sometimes, it doesn't really bond in the same way. There are little sub-parts to it, but there's not the same sort of cohesion that you get in CM.
Yeah.
So I guess people on your degree program were also applying for placements as well.
You know what's funny?
Would help a bit.
You know what's funny? All my friends are single honors CS students.
Right.
Yeah. I think I got absorbed by.
So you mentioned Asma, who was here last year. So she one of your friends. She was single honors
AI.
AI, right? So she graduated. It was last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, last year. And then I have another friend called Asma, who's a single honours CS
The other
student.
Asma.
Yeah, she did a placement year with me. Yeah.
So, how did you go about looking for stuff? And obviously, once you worked out how to apply, how did you work out where to apply?
I think this is another area where Mabel helped me. She essentially gave me like a list of companies,
Right.
and it's quite an extensive list.
You were looking in Manchester primarily, or were you not fussed?
Anywhere. Yeah. I think I was just eager to get an opportunity.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I went through that list and started researching the company, what projects they do, their technical team, stuff like that, because I wanted to know what I can learn from this company.
Yeah.
And so I went down the list, and some of them I wasn't keen on, so I just removed from my list. Some of them I was super keen on, so I had an eye out for their open date, or whether they even did a placement, because not everywhere does a placement.
Yeah. And some places do a summer internship but no placement. Some companies don't offer either, which is a bit frustrating.
Some companies do a 6-month internship, and so it's not enough for a placement. Yeah,
okay. So you where did you end up working in for your placement unit?
I ended up working in Couchbase. So they have an office in Manchester. I think that's where their technical team is based, and I was working with another University of Manchester student.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, so that was quite nice to have a familiar face there. Yeah.
And what does for people who haven't heard of it, what does Couchbase do? Because it's quite a big American company, isn't it?
Yeah, so their expertise is like NoSQL databases. That's really where they thrive.
And your role was, what were you doing within Couchbase specific? Are there stuff you can talk about? I guess there's probably things you can't talk about, but...
I was essentially helping with internal servicing tools. So, for example, one of our tools was a sizing calculator, and so that's when we get customers who are new to Couchbase and they have all this data that they want to migrate onto a Couchbase like database, and we essentially tell them how much it's going to cost, what resources they need in order to make that move. So that was one of the tools.
Right, sounds interesting. So I guess you what were the main things that you what were the main things you learned on placement, and what was anything that sort of stands out as particularly enjoyable or rewarding from that year?
I think there's so many things I learned from that placement. One thing is it helped me strengthen my skills as a Python developer. I had used Python here and there, but to use it in a professional setting was different. It was quite new. And then writing tests as well, that was quite challenging, something I had to get to grips with as well. I think one thing that was different but also challenging was like looking at how many tickets you've done, how many tickets you're going to do, organising yourself in general, like getting to grips with the corporate world, working in a team, having clients, and trying not to overpromise and underdeliver. It was quite scary. Just
it's a very different way of working, isn't it, to university, where you're sort of, you don't have a manager as such, but you're given deadlines, and that kind of structures your time, whereas in, I guess you're saying you sort of had to structure your time a little bit yourself and work out like what you're going to put in, obviously in collaboration with your manager, but work out which tickets you're going to work on, and how long it's going to take, and all that kind of stuff.
I think the difference between the university is that you're more responsible for yourself, and any consequences are just on yourself. Whereas working in a team in a professional setting, you know that your team members are relying on you to do your job well, and if something breaks, it's quite stressful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially if there's a customer involved, then it's even more stressful.
Yeah, exactly. So it taught me a lot of responsibility.
Right.
And I will have that culture shock when I work in the future now.
So one thing talking to placement students is I've always assumed that there was a transition from being a student to being professional, which is challenging, which it is. But some students have said actually they find the transition from being a professional to being a student again is as hard, sometimes harder, because you've got used to this way of working and working in a corporate world, and then suddenly you come back to university and it's all different all over again. Did you find that difficult at all? Or
I think for me it was just I had a structured work routine, like go to the office, 8, come back. Whereas in uni, you have like a sense of freedom again. So it's just like, yay, I'll wake up at 11 a.m. and then your schedule just goes to ruin. So I think trying to maintain that schedule, keeping on top of my work again, and knowing that, you know, no one's really relying on me, so I have to push myself. Because I work well under that pressure.
Right.
So
it helps when you've got external people, like, or
like
a manager or customers or whoever it is, to sort of ask you to do things.
Yeah, it does help.
Yeah, okay, good. So you're back at university now. Can you tell us a little bit about what you did for your final year project? So what was your project and who supervised it?
So I was supervised by Francisco Lobo, and my project was on formal concept analysis, which is like a mathematical framework, but I applied that to recommender systems.
Right.
And I was motivated by the fact that I get decision fatigue personally a lot, and we have so much information being sent our way constantly. Like, what movie should I watch? Well, you can just scroll on Netflix for hours, you know? And so I thought I'm gonna put in my personal kind of issues and make a recommender system using this framework.
For like everything, or within just in a specific domain? So is it recommending, say, just movies, for example?
Yeah, just movies.
Okay.
Yeah, and then seeing how it performs against what's already out there, and then incorporating like a few measures just to see how similar different items are, which measure is the best, and then you start to peel back layers and realize that recommender systems can be complex.
Yeah.
And so I think I had a bit of fun with that one.
Yeah, it's kind of quite interesting because it's very topical in a way, isn't it? Because recommender systems are what drives a lot of social media as well, and it's sort of sometimes they don't always recommend the right thing, or they might recommend the thing that makes the company the most money, as in clicks.
Yeah.
But I guess in your case, how did you tune it to recommend you movies that you were actually interested in, rather than ones that Netflix wants or whoever wants you to watch?
So this is actually a good question, because this is how my recommender system works. And so what it does is it finds users that are similar to you. So users that have liked the same movies as you in the past, or rated them past a specific threshold, and it starts to recommend those to you, and then you can rate that, and then it starts to build up on it. So it's like the idea of collaborative filtering.
So if you trust somebody's opinion on a film, or you think you value their opinion, you can sort of express that in your model, and then it takes that into account when it's recommending you a film. It's not just saying random user A like this, so we think you'll like it too. It's like, well, my friend actually recommended that, so
it's more general than that. I think it's just users that have had a similar like history to you in the past.
Right. Okay.
So it's kind of like if you have two people and you're like, oh, this person has a similar taste palette to you, and so you recommend the same restaurant,
right,
hoping that they might like it, and then you can get their feedback.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so that sounds like a lot of fun. So it sounds like an enjoyable sort of project to get stuck into, and it sounds like you immersed yourself in that in your final year by the sounds of things.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's brings us up to the end of your degree. So you're graduating. Is it next week? 2 weeks?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
2 weeks time, isn't it? We look forward to welcoming you and your family here, hopefully, to celebrate your graduation. The next part is called Minority Report. So if there are any minority groups that you identify as being a member of, what's your experience been as a member of that minority group, and what could employers and universities do to make it better?
Yeah, this is quite an interesting question. I think for me, I'm a woman in tech. I'm also a Muslim in tech, and I'm also part of like the black community as well. So it's quite the combination.
I think they call it intersection. Social psychologists call it intersectionality, where you've got, I think it's called intersectionality, where you've got multiple things.
Yeah.
So like if you're just a member of one of those groups, that's one thing, but actually being a member of 3 of those groups makes it much more complicated than if you were just a woman. But so
I like to call it triple threat, you know.
Triple threat. So, I mean, I think it's about 20% female undergraduates in computer science, something like that, in Manchester, roughly. Does that sound about right?
It looks about right.
Looks about right.
Yeah.
So I guess you probably know a lot of the women studying computer science because it's quite, again, it's like the CM cohort, isn't it? It's quite a well-defined group.
Yeah.
What's your experience been? Have there been any bad experiences that, the university could do more to improve, or employers could do to make better?
I think this is actually like a good point of the university where I've never felt out of place. I think the university has, especially societies, do a good job, and the university does a good job in supporting those societies as well. So like the Women in Tech Society, and then also like the Computer Science Society hosting events in collaboration with these societies as well. I think it's important that they highlight this, which they have been doing, and I've been able to go to events that they've hosted. I think it's quite nice that they celebrate.
Like Unix, for example, has quite a lot of women running it, basically, isn't it? So it's whereas the department's quite male dominated.
Yeah.
The societies feel like they're a bit more healthier balance in terms of their, just gender balance for one.
Yeah, I think that's why I haven't felt the gender imbalance, because I was part of the committee and I was like organising a lot of events for like students and things like that. But also one of our chairs was a female, like a woman, and we had a male chair, so it was like quite a balance. And then the teams as well, everything was quite balanced. And so I've always felt included. I've never felt out of place. I think the first time I really felt that was on my placement, when I walked in the first day and there's 10 of us placement students and I'm the only woman of colour Muslim. And so I just think it's really interesting, because in Kilburn we have like a multi-faith room where as a Muslim I can go pray, whereas at work there was no multi-faith room. And so I had to kind of explain, like, as a Muslim, my daily prayers are it's important and a significant part of my life. And so I had that conversation with my manager. I think it's not something that he was aware of, because I just don't think they have many Muslims. I think I was one of like 2. And so he was very accommodating. He was like, I think that's pretty good.
They did. It was new for them, but they did manage to. I think it's a sign of a good employer is that they accommodate whatever it is that you need to succeed.
Exactly. And I think hopefully they do implement something that future Muslims or Muslims in tech can, feel comfortable with. Because I think they did a good job with that one. I just don't think they've come across it before.
Yeah. What about, and the other two other groups you mentioned, being Muslim and being black, anything about that the university or employers can do to make tech more attractive, and also not just to make it more attractive, but to keep people there once they're there, right? So I guess some people will try it and then leave and never come back again, right? So this isn't for me, I don't belong here.
I think definitely having events is a good thing. Highlighting like Black History Month is also something quite nice. Significant black figures in history who have contributed towards computer science would be quite a nice thing to do as well. I think just in terms of other, like having friends from a different backgrounds, it's not something that the university can help. It's really who applies to university, right?
Yeah.
So it's quite challenging from the university's point of view. But from a student perspective, I would say do your research when applying. That's definitely something my placement taught me. Like, the environment matters a lot, and if being in a multicultural environment is important to you, I think you should really highlight that in your job search, which I did for my graduate world.
All right. Okay. Good. So the next question is moving on. So we talked about minority groups. Next one is to finish off with is one tune, one podcast, one book, one film. So let's start with one tune. Is there a piece of music that is important to you that you recommend our listeners go and listen to, and say a little bit about why it's important?
Don't Look Back in Anger by like Oasis. I feel like it's the Mancunian in me coming out.
Okay.
It's a very, I think it's quite a calming tune. I still deal with, well, a lot of internal pressure with like my performance academically, like my work, but like my attitude towards my work. I just think when I listen to it, it's quite calming, and I listen to it a lot during GCSEs.
Right.
Yeah, so it definitely holds a place in my heart.
And it's coming around again, isn't it? Because they're playing in Manchester this summer.
Yeah, they are.
Having been, I show my age here, but I can remember them playing in Manchester 30 years ago when I was an undergraduate. So it's come full circle.
Yeah.
I like the good. Okay, so don't look back in anger is the music. What about podcasts? Do you listen to podcasts much?
Yeah, I love podcasts.
Right.
My favourite podcast is Rotten Mango.
Rotten Mango. Okay,
Yeah,
that's come up on here before actually.
Really?
Yeah. Actually, twice. So it's a sort of true crime. Is that right?
Yeah, it's true crime. It can be quite explicit, but there are trigger warnings.
Right.
But it's just amazing.
Right.
It's just amazing. Like the quality of the podcast, the enthusiasm of the host, just all of it is really good. So.
And she's been doing it for a long time as well, hasn't she? I think
Yeah.
like years. I think so.
Yeah.
Rotten Mango, good. And a book that you'd recommend people read?
40 Rules of Love by Elif Shafak.
Right.
It's about a modern day woman reading a manuscript for her job, and the manuscript is about the ancient Persian poet called Rumi
Mhm.
and his teacher Shams, and Shams kind of walks him through like the 40 rules of love, and you get to see like different perspectives from like 30th century Turkey.
Right.
And so you see life through a beggar, you see life through a rich man, and it teaches you that there are different perspectives in life. I think 40 Rules of Love makes it sound very romantic, but it's really not that romantic.
Right.
It's more about your own life and looking within yourself and looking outside at other people, not judging people, but also taking it a bit easy on yourself, knowing that you have a responsibility, but knowing it's not the end of the world. If you don't meet that kind of pressure.
Is it different perspectives on the same event, or is it different perspectives on different events? From what you're saying, because you've got like a beggar and a rich man, for example, are they both observing the same thing happening, or is it different things?
It's different things. It's the outlook on life, essentially. Right. Because the beggar is like, oh, well, people treat me so poorly because I'm a beggar, and they insult me and things like this. And then the rich man is like kind of taking a lot of things for granted, but knowing that he could easily be in a position that is.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I think it's a really good book.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that. We'll add that to the list. As a film, a particular film that you enjoyed, recommend people go and watch?
Legally Blonde.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. It's such a feel-good movie. I just feel like it's funny. It also tells you can do anything you put your mind to. It's 10 out of 10.
Is that this one with Reese? Is it Reese Witherspoon?
Yes,
That one, isn't it? It's quite an old film now, isn't it? It must be.
I think it's like early 2000s.
It's early 2000s.
Yeah.
Right. Legally Blonde. I think I've seen bits of that. Next one is one film. Oh, so we've done. Sorry, one book, one tune, one podcast, one film. So we've done the film. Right. Good. Right. So moving on to. I want you to imagine that a colleague of ours in the physics department has invented a time machine that they've lent us.
Okay.
You can travel back in time to 4 years ago, or just under 4 years ago, September 2021. You can meet your former self. What advice would you offer your former self and fellow students about making the most of that 4 years that you've had?
Yeah, okay. This is a good question. I'd say it doesn't have to be perfect, just get started.
Right.
I think I was always afraid of making mistakes, which really sets you back when programming. You just have to make the mistakes, and then once you learn from them, you'll be more experienced.
And I think sort of that's really interesting, because I think academia tends to reward perfection, whether it's at a GCSE A level or a degree level, and you can get tied up in that perfectionism of wanting to do it perfectly, whereas actually, like you say, with programming in particular, you just have to sort of launch into it at some point.
Yeah,
get going.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, you'd be paralyzed, and you wouldn't make any progress. So, yeah, definitely dealing with perfectionism. And then a second thing I would say is do spring insights, do more hackathons.
Right.
Like they're more important than you might think, especially when you come to second year and you're trying to apply for internships, and you think, oh right, what do I actually have to put on my CV? You can put your coursework, but I think hackathons and things like that are just a lot better for your own experience, and also showing that you engage with the wider community.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Like, you probably see it doing CS50 probably helps you stand out a little bit in second year, because not everyone's done that as a course, but you have done quite a few hackathons, haven't you? Because I think you were involved in organising Student Hack, Great Uni Hack. Did you get involved in that a bit?
Yeah, so I started organising Student Hack. I also organised Great Uni Hack for the past 2 years, I would say. Those were really good experiences.
It's quite a good way to work out what a hackathon's about.
Yeah, without
before actually doing it.
Yeah.
So you can observe what other people do, and then when you do one yourself, you kind of know what's going on, and you know how to get the most out of it.
That's quite good actually. Yeah, if you're starting out, I'd say volunteer to do help a hackathon, and then you get to see everything on the day, how it works out, and you can actually talk to people about their projects, which can give you ideas as well. And so yeah, definitely hackathons are a huge thing. Spring Insights, I would say, just to understand what companies are out there, because I think for me, I didn't understand what tech companies are out there, what you can actually do with tech. I just kind of liked CS. I was like, oh, I'll do as a degree. And so that's quite.
And there are loads of different things you can do with computer science, so it's kind of actually sometimes that's a bit bewildering, isn't it? It's like, well,
what do I do? But there's actually so much.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So actually, you mentioned you were talking about before you came in, you did a Minecraft hackathon that looks interesting, because it wasn't just computer science, was it? Was it materials as well or something? It was
I think it was chemical engineering or mechanical engineering.
Yeah.
It was a good event. We actually had to design a fusion reactor and design it in Minecraft.
Right.
Yeah. But then we also assigned a country, and we had to understand the applications to that country,
right.
Energy demand, but also how advanced technologically is that country, what is the labor going into making a fusion plant in that country. I think I learned a lot about Malaysia because we were assigned Malaysia.
Right.
So
you didn't get to choose a country, you were just
given one. So I think that was part of the challenge, but I had a lot of Malaysians on my team, so I ended up reading about their nuclear plans and the law as well. So I didn't expect to be doing that.
I suppose a fusion reactor needs lots of power, so you kind of have very high demand for power. Is that part of it?
It needs a lot of. I'm not a chemical engineer, so I could get this wrong, but it needs a lot of hydrogen.
Right.
I think because I think it's a reaction between neutrons which releases that energy for people to use in the form of electricity. But yeah, I left that bit to the engineers.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So that was the Minecraft hackathon. So say get involved in hackathons. Anything else you'd recommend students do apart from the things you've already mentioned?
Oh yes, it's good that you asked me that. Get involved with societies.
Right.
I made a lot of friends through getting involved with societies. You can go to their events, but I'd say take it a step further and apply to be on one of the teams on UniCS or Crackchester. I'm not sure if they're still going, or be on the committee. I think it gives you a lot of things to talk about in interviews and good way to make friends. And also because I was the events officer for UniCS, and I essentially just did the events that I wanted to do.
Right.
I wanted to go to Alton Towers, so I just used department money to go.
Good excuse.
So, and yeah, it's quite a nice way to engage and give back to the community. So,
I guess that's true for. I mean, we focused on tech societies, which are popular, but there's others as well, isn't there? It doesn't have to be tech.
Yeah, it doesn't.
You can get involved with any of these societies. Yeah,
because we collaborated with the board game society.
Right.
They do really really cool events. You get to meet more people, play games, and it doesn't have to be like awkward because you can just focus on the game if you're not one for small talk, you know. Yeah.
The only thing I didn't realise when I was an undergraduate is that it's very easy to propose your own. So if you look at the societies and think, yeah, nothing there interests me, you set up your own.
Yeah, exactly.
And you don't actually have to get that many people on board to get some funding from the Students' Union to have a society of whatever, tiddlywinks or whatever it is that makes you're interested in.
Yeah, I think you just need about 3 people, so yeah, shouldn't be too bad.
Okay, good. So that's anything else? Any other advice for former self? I think covered societies. We've covered hackathons.
I think. Just stay on top of your work. Yeah, I left a lot of things to last minute, and it just stressed me out for no reason. Just do the work.
Was that in first year in particular, or
second year? To be fair, we had a lot of coursework.
There is a lot in second year, isn't there?
There's just too much.
There is a bit too much.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. All right. Well, thank you. Oh no, we haven't. The last question was, what are your plans for the future? Where are you headed next?
Yes. So I have a graduate scheme with Lloyd's for the next 2 years.
Right.
Think it's a great way to kind of explore more, because I don't exactly know what I want to do within tech yet.
Right.
It's one of the reasons why I chose the Lloyd's graduate program. So that'll be.
Do you know where you'll be based, or is it somewhere where you'll be rotating around, moving to different parts of the country, or?
I'll be focused within the northwest, so I most likely will stay in the Manchester office. Fingers crossed, they'll tell me this summer. Right. Yeah, I don't want to go to Leeds.
And you start that in September, I guess, or is it August? So you've got a bit of time to relax and
kind of
recharge.
Yes, take everything in.
Okay, good. Well, thank you for coming on the show, and good luck with Lloyd's.
Thank you.
And we look forward to seeing you at graduation in a couple of weeks' time.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening to Hearing Your Future, the Coding Your Future podcast. You can find out more about this episode and all the other episodes, including transcripts and show notes, at cdyf.me. That's Charlie Delta Yankee Foxtrot Mike Echo. You can also find us on all the major podcast platforms by searching for Coding Your Future. Subscribe and listen wherever you get your podcasts. I hope you found something useful to help you start coding your future today.